Miriam moved 6,000 miles away and assumed she had become anonymous. She thought she'd left everyone behind. As it turns out, behind has Wi-Fi.
So it's a random Tuesday. I'm just sitting here conditioning my hair, and my phone starts blowing up. Not with anything urgent, with this. That's an old coworker from my last job on the West Coast, who I have not spoken to in about 4 years. That's an aunt, sitting on her couch thousands of miles away, doom scrolling the YouTube page like a normal person on a Tuesday night. And I show up. Not a friend's post about me. Me. Recommended. I don't know. She saw some video of mine. She didn't find me. YouTube served me to her like a snack. Here's the thing about America. You can vanish. That's the whole deal. That's a product of a country this big. You move 2 states over, and then basically you enter some no-go zones. Nobody's checking up on you. You can open a taco stand in a cult, or you can start a podcast about medieval stage warfare. And your high school class, they'd simply never know. I moved an entire ocean away. I figured I bought myself invisibility. Turns out I just bought myself a longer flight for people to find me on YouTube. Because the YouTube browser page doesn't care about oceans. Doesn't care that you haven't talked to these people in 4 years. It just wants to know whether you're going to click. And apparently, the coworkers on the West Coast, they will absolutely click. So at this point, I could just publish a taxonomy of these texts. There's the shocked one. There's the suspicious one. And then there's the deeply flattering but unsettling one. Nothing invites an existential crisis like finding out that your aunt has opinions about your thumbnail choices. You know, none of them found me because they were looking. A set of software simply decided that at 9:47 on a Tuesday was the moment to reunite us. I made a video about a farmer's market, and the algorithm brought 14 people from my former life to the party. And then sometimes after the surprise wears off come the questions. Little. It's always interesting where people place that word. Nobody ever asked whether I was still doing that little high-pressure job that consumed most of my waking life. But when you make something of your own, something without a title, something without an office, or a respectable corporate ladder attached to it, suddenly it's adorable. And I'm not the only one that's learning this. There are a lot of YouTubers that came from high-status careers that are discovering the same thing. The people from our former lives, they don't always understand why we do what we do, or why we would leave something impressive to do something meaningful. I retired early and I immediately began making YouTube videos. Now, if the American version of this is being randomly ambushed from the time zones, the Czech version is a completely different animal. Because over here, it's not the algorithm doing the finding. It's just a guy, in person, standing right in front of you. So there we are, we're minding our own business, buying vegetables like a normal adult, when a total stranger, a Czech stranger, they stop and they squint and they say,
"I know Ellie!"
Not me. A stranger who watches my channel spotted Ellie on a Brno street and knew exactly who she was. That's the country in a nutshell. It's not that people are looking for you, it's just that there's not enough of you to hide behind. You see, in America, you disappear into the scale. And here, there's less scale to disappear into. The Czech Republic doesn't offer an anonymity plan. The Czech Republic is a small country with really good beer, so I'm told. I don't really drink beer, but excellent healthcare. And there's fewer people in the entire country than in some American metropolitan areas. Which means that the moment you start making videos about living here, we're no longer just people on the internet. Here you're recognized immediately because you're the American from the internet. So then you can't really buy vegetables anonymously. Well, you can, but you'll get that. That's that American from the internet. I get discovered by people across the ocean who aren't looking, mostly family. And I get discovered on the sidewalk by people who definitely weren't looking either. I could care less. But see, here's what none of these people, the coworkers, the aunt, the guy at the market, actually know. This isn't new. I didn't wake up in Brno one day and think, you know what this town needs? Content. I've been writing and making these little films since I was a kid, with a camera I didn't even know how to use and a plot I definitely couldn't finish. YouTube didn't create the writer. YouTube just finally gave the writer decent lighting. Sort of. I didn't tell everyone back home about the channel at first. It's not because I was embarrassed. Because the thing wasn't ready yet. People don't understand. If you have a YouTube channel, your friends and family, they don't get it. Your coworkers, they don't get it. You let it become itself before it becomes public property. And eventually, it gets too big to keep in the drawer. It isn't a secret coming out. It's just the drawer being full. I don't think anybody wants to die with their thoughts and their creative thoughts still in them. Everybody wants to do something to just let the world know when they're gone that, hey, I was here too. It's hot. You know what? I have air conditioning, but I'm starting to really hate summer. I used to love it as a kid, but it's getting too damn hot. But anyway, I didn't arrive at other people. Don't get a vote by accident. I learned that the hard way. In the rooms full of other broke, over-caffeinated indie filmmakers. All of us making things that nobody asked for, on budgets that nobody had. You learn fast in that world to develop a thick skin. Because if you wait for everyone's approval before you finish something, well, you're gonna die with 40 unfinished projects and one really good exercise. You're gonna die with 40 unfinished projects and one really good excuse. Judgment is just weather. You don't cancel the shoot because it might rain. You bring a jacket. Speaking of things that turned out smaller than expected, the tiny studio apartment. Let's talk about the apartment. Every American who visits, they look around the bunker and they do the same slow motion double take. Like they've just remembered that square footage is a choice. Wait, this is it? Where's the rest of it? This is the rest of it. And downsizing into a smaller space, it does something to you. It forces a real question. What do I actually need in here to be happy? It turns out, not much. A desk, good light, coffee, a whiteboard that I keep drawing dumb things on. But here's the twist that I didn't expect. Once you downsize the apartment, you start downsizing everything else too, including the space that you've been holding, reserving in your head, rent-free, and prime real estate for other people's opinions of you. At the time, I didn't need 400 extra square feet. And it turns out that I didn't need 400 square feet of other people's judgment rattling around in my head either. Both of them got renovated, but only one of them needed a moving truck. So to all you YouTubers out there who keep hearing about your little channel, we didn't ask their permission to start this, and we're not going to ask their permission to keep going. We already had the respectable jobs. We had the titles. We did what we were supposed to do. Now, we're making something that belongs to us. And it's fun. And it may look small to the people looking in from our old lives. Yeah, and it may look small from the people looking in from our old lives, but that doesn't mean that it's small to us. But here's what I keep coming back to. I moved to a smaller country. I live in a smaller apartment. I have generously less stuff and zero anonymity from either continent, apparently. Somehow, I have more purpose than I've had in years. Small doesn't mean less. Small sometimes just means that you finally have room to see what really actually matters, because you've cleared out everything else to make space for it. So if you're out there sitting on your own unfinished thing, your own script in a drawer, your own little channel that you haven't told your family about, here's the only advice that I've got. Start anyway. Post it anyway. Let the algorithm do whatever the weird, humiliating, wonderful thing that the algorithm wants to do with it. Let the guy at the market recognize your spouse before they recognize you. Doesn't matter. Because the second you stop worrying about being found is the exact second that you're finally free to be seen.
Unfortunately for Miriam, Aunt Carol has now subscribed.
Oh my God!